can't hear you, 11th grade. Let's bring that down a little bit. Check this out. Real quickly, we are in the Aaliyah hallway, or the Aaliyah auditorium, rather. Now, for many of you all, in many cases, Aaliyah is an anomaly. Y'all so caught up on Beyonce, Cardi B, and Nicki Minaj. But it would not be any of them if it was not for Aaliyah. So today, I come to rock the boat a little bit. I want to ask you, are you that somebody? Because you need to realize that you're one in a million. All right? Today I really want to speak from the subject matter. Like I said, not long but strong. I want to speak real quickly from the subject matter. Walk it like you talk it. Check this out. I really want you to step into success today. I was on my way up here, right? I hopped out of my car while I'm coming here today. I'm at the front desk. The guy tells me, the security guard, he says, "Sir, just go down the hallway. You're headed to the 4th floor, the Aaliyah auditorium, and you're going to take the 4th floor, but you're going to take the elevator." So I get on the elevator, Dr. Pinson. I'm on the elevator, and I'm on the 1st floor, and I'm looking at the elevator. I say, it only goes up to the 3rd floor. So I hop immediately off the elevator, and I say, where's the place where I can take the steps? And I'm walking up the steps, and it immediately dawns on me that in many cases, for you to get to the next level in life, you're not going to always be able to take the elevator. Sometimes you're going to have to take the steps. The elevator to where you go in life is not about necessarily you listening to amigos, but it's you asking yourself the question, who are my amigos? Amigos, y'all know who amigos are? You people who you hang around with every day. The people in your life, check this out, are either going to help you to get to the next level or they're going to stop you from getting there. And in this, listen, check this out. Stop talking, because your future depends on the words I'm getting ready to give you and drop jewels of wisdom and drop these gems on you. Don't let it go in one ear and out the other. I want you to listen. Hearing is just what you let go in one ear out the other. Listening is comprehension. Listening means I'm literally leaning in to what somebody's going to say. Listen, I realize that the word silent and the word listen all have the same letters. 2 ears, 1 mouth. So let's listen twice more than what we say. So I realize in life, you're not going to always be able to take the elevator to get to the top. In many cases, you're going to have to take the steps. The steps every single day of doing your homework, the steps every single day of focusing in class, the step every single day of asking yourself, what is my dream? Am I standing in the way of me getting to the next level? Am I stopping myself from getting there? Or am I assisting myself in getting to the top? Where are my people who see themselves going to college? I'm straight elbows. I need straight elbows up in here. All right. Let me give you some jewels real quickly so that you can begin to walk it like you're talking. I realize this. I'm a professor over at Marigold College, as I said. I'm teaching social justice and literacy development. And I found myself in a very precarious, dangerous situation when I was your age. I faced one of my greatest hurdles, circumstances, and challenges at the age of 15. I was sophomore in high school. And I grew up without a father in my life. I know you all have heard that type of story. How many of us are living in a fatherless home? Okay. Yeah, I was there too. And in many cases, the question dawned on me, even as I think back in retrospect, how do you play a role when you weren't given a script? Because in many cases in life, if you come from communities where I come from, where it's liquor store, trap house, liquor store, gas station, strip club, fast food, where in many cases people get shot quicker than they can even realize their own dream. I know, y'all grow up, y'all live in Birmingham and Bloomfield Hills. I know. Y'all don't even connect with what I'm saying. I know y'all always had it that way. Y'all took the elevator all your life. I'm with some real people in. Check this out. Since you connect with me on that, the question now becomes, how do you live out your dream in many cases when you're living in a nightmare.
True.
I realize this in life, everybody has a story. You tell my story is journalism, but when you tell your own story, it's a testimony. Why? Because your test is a testimony, your misery is ministry, your mess is a message, your stumbling block is a stepping stone. What God does, he uses your setback as a setup for your greatest comeback. He literally uses your tragedy as strategy to redirect the course of your mentality. But what you have to do, you have to think with urgency. Why is this? Because as long as I have a pulse, I have a purpose. You can take your pulse right there on the end of your wrist. You can take your pulse right below your chin, and you can feel the beating pulse and the sensation. Your heart is beating. So in many cases, a lot of times we focus on, why am I here? Why didn't I have this? Why am I growing up in a community like that? Why was I such and such and such and such? You can fill in the blank. But in many cases, outside of asking yourself the why, you need to see the way that's being created for you. You're here at a prime opportunity right now. Listen, I saw all the young people who just came up. I never heard ABC, something like that before. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I never really saw talent like this more than ever before. And the question now becomes, is what will you do with what you've been given? Everybody in here, the reason you got into DSA, the reason you got into this performing arts school is because you have a gift. You have something that's so special inside of you. Everybody in here is a red box and a gold bowl. You don't need Christmas to tell you or your birthday to let you know that you're a gift to the world. The tragedy is to be gifted but to never open the package. What are you doing every single day to develop that craft and that gift? All right, you can sing, you can blow, you can just get up at 3 a.m. and just belt out 5 different octaves. You can play, you can get on the trumpet or the keys or the drums, whatever you can do. But how are you working that gift every single day? Listen, by the time you hit the age of 17, society tells you that you will hear the word no on average. An average 17-year-old will hear the word no 150,000 times in the course of your life up to age 17. But guess what? You only hear the word yes by the time you hit 17, 5,000 times. You know what no in life really means? New opportunity. You got to realize rejection is redirection. People in life are going to tell you no. They're going to say, no, we don't want you on this stage. They're going to say, no, I don't believe in you. They're going to say, no, you can't go to college because of where you come from. They're going to tell you that you are at risk. You know, in society, if you're born, especially black or brown, young man or young woman, society already tells you you're at risk. You're at risk of going to jail. You're at risk of doing this because you may have grown up in a fatherless home or loveless home. You're at risk because of such and such because maybe you were abused. 1 out of 3 girls is touched inappropriately. 1 out of 6 boys is as well. You are at risk because of all these adverse effects that have happened to you. But they didn't tell you this. If you apply yourself, if you take the steps and take the long way when everybody else is taking the shortcut, if you focus on your focus, if you say, you know what, I'm going to use my haters as elevators and escalators to move my life to the next level, then the person who is really at risk is the one who is an educated man and an educated woman. Because at risk means danger. The most dangerous one of us is an educated one. The most dangerous one of us ain't about you throwing up your set. The most dangerous one of us ain't about bullets, but it's about using the mind to open up your book. The most dangerous one of us is saying, guess what? I'm going to give it all I got every single day. I'm going to respect my teachers. I'm going to respect my elders. I'm going to respect myself because I love me, and I can't expect nobody else to love me if I don't love me. Came to that rationale. I told you I was age 15. I faced one of my greatest hurdles, circumstances, and challenges. I'm in school now. Really, I kind of like school. You know, for me, my favorite 2 classes in school were gym and lunch. You know, I love to chase the girls in gym. Then I like to sit down and eat with them at lunch. Like, hey, what's going on? What your name is? I don't know your name, but I need to know your name. Don't try that line. That's mine. Quote me next time. So I'm over my friend's house, watching the Rose Bowl game. Can't breathe by halftime. I'm chilling, watching the football game. Can't breathe by halftime. Now, generally, us as males, we don't really talk about the pain that we experience because oftentimes masculinity and vulnerability cannot coexist in the same space. Generally, vulnerability is seen as feminine. You know, you fall off a bike, bro. You fell off a bike when you were about 4 or 5 years old. Somebody said, kick the bike, the wheel of the bike, said, get up, be a man. No, I'm 4, I'm not 44. Let me know what to do after I cry. It's all right to cry. Men don't only cry in the dark, we also cry in the light too. So I was crying, I was screaming silent. And I didn't want nobody really to deal with the pain that I had because I was masking it. I was masking it with saying, yeah, I'm this tough dude. I was masking it with saying, yeah, it's about how many ladies I can try to ask to homecoming and prom with me. I was masking it because I said, all right, I'm G'd up from the feet up. I got the new Jordans. I got the new this, that, and the other. I got these 2 Chainz. I wasn't listening to 2 Chainz, but you know what I'm saying. He wasn't out there. So I had all this stuff on the outside, but I was lacking love on the inside. I didn't know who I was. And guess what? If you don't know who you are, people will tell you what you're not. And once they tell you what you're not, you're going to begin to buy into that philosophy. You're going to begin to believe it. And as a result, you're going to live your life according to it. Then once you have a family, once you surround yourself with other people, you're going to pass on that same negative mentality of other people. Over my friend's house, like I said, can't breathe by halftime. His mother takes me to the hospital. My mother meets me there. The doctors say they need to do an x-ray. They do an x-ray, and they see they need to take me to surgery immediately. IVs everywhere, you name it. Doctors cut me open, and they see my cells in my body, true story. Not based on a true story, straight up true story. They see my cells in my body are growing so fast, they can see them growing with the naked eye. Around my heart, my trachea, my esophagus, my voice box, the place I'm speaking to you out of right now. Now, if you know anything about biology, I told you my favorite 2 classes in school were gym and lunch, so I do know this, that cells are supposed to live and die off. If they don't die off, a tumor forms. And that's what happened. Tumor formed in my body. Felt great coming out of surgery after they removed the tumor. Doctor says, Eddie, we have a diagnosis for you. I said, what? It's punctured lung, whatever it is. I'm getting ready to play varsity basketball as a sophomore. I'm getting ready to go back to my favorite 2 classes in school, gym and what? Lunch. Gym and what? Lunch and what? Gym. Just checking. So I'm sitting on the edge of the hospital bed. The doctor says, Eddie, we have a diagnosis for you. He says, you have what we call NHL. Now, Dr. Pinson, I got real happy. I said, I've never played the Powerball, much less the lottery, but I thought I hit it that day because I'm getting ready to be the youngest owner of a National Hockey League team. And I don't even watch the Red Wings. He said, no, Ed, you don't have National Hockey League, you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Anybody ever heard that before? I said, Doc, you've heard of it? I've never heard of it. I said, Doc, my first language is Ebonics. I'm still trying to learn English. What do you mean? He said, you have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. I fill my pockets to find $4. He says, no, you have stage 4 cancer. How many of us know somebody who is either battling cancer or lost a loved one to cancer, a friend, something? We've all been touched in many cases, majority of us by cancer. Every second in America, 2-3 people are diagnosed with cancer. 1 in every 1,000 teenagers is diagnosed. Not only am I a statistic in America's eyes, as Donald Glover, Childish Gambino would say, this is America. I'm already a statistic. Now it seems as if I'm going to lose my life before I can even begin to live my life. Have you ever experienced so much pain and turmoil and hurt and anguish? You say sometimes to yourself, what is the point to where as older as I get, the more pain I experience? I wasn't even living life to where now it seems like I'm about to lose my life. Now I'm upset, I'm mad at the world. My own biological father never visited me one day in the hospital. Some things you never get over, you just have to manage. And what I had to do is I had to free myself of the bitterness that I had to my father so that I could be better. Sometimes you got to forgive people who will never give you an apology. My mother, the reason I'm here today is because I have a praying mama. I don't know about y'all. My mama prayed for me. Have me on her mind, take the time to pray for me. She says to me, she says, Eddie, everybody in life gets knocked down, but a knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. You got to get back up again. Muhammad Ali said the canvas is no place for a champion. The greatest fight that I had to experience wasn't a hater. It wasn't people telling me what I couldn't be or what I couldn't become. It was me versus me. Your greatest opponent ain't who's sitting next to you. It ain't the person who seems to be bullying you, telling you what you can't do, saying, oh, well, you can't sing as good as this other person. You can't play like them. The greatest fight is you versus you every single day. When you want to lay in the bed when your alarm clock is going off. What's going to wake you up other than your alarm clock? Purpose has to wake you up. When you don't feel like doing your homework, when you don't feel like focusing and applying yourself in class and in life, the greatest fight is you versus you. What you gonna do? You gonna lose to yourself? Because the greatest enemy is oftentimes the inner me. I'm gonna say it twice because it's oh so nice. The greatest enemy is oftentimes the inner me. So what you gotta do, you gotta be your best friend, not your worst enemy. So check this out. What I began to do, I began to fight against cancer. Out of school my sophomore year, getting chemotherapy, radiation. Y'all see these waves today? Brush waves coming back. Brush waves. Lost all my hair, but not just my hair, my self-confidence. I lost my self-esteem. I lost love for me. I lost my will to live. Wanted to give up, wanted to throw in the towel. I'm telling you, every single day I was motivated. Matter of fact, forget motivation. Motivation come and go. It's about purpose. Your life has a purpose. You ain't gonna always feel like doing it. You ain't gonna always feel like being successful. You ain't gonna always feel like putting in the work. Drake said, you wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. Pusha T might have something else to say about that. I'll leave that alone. So the fact of the matter is you gotta keep fighting every single day. And I began to transform my thinking because the battle ain't on the outside, it's right here. To find the first three letters in cancer spells what, y'all? Can. Yeah, you can overcome, you can survive. Who told you what you can't do? You gotta delete the letter T from the word can't, turn into what you can do. You gotta put an apostrophe between the I and the M in impossible to see it as what? I'm possible. The dream is important. Your life is important. Your life has value. Your life matters. I was depressed. I felt like literally, I don't really talk about it much, but I'll say this today, I literally wanted to commit suicide. I literally wanted to just take my own life because I was so depressed. But I look at the word depressed, there's another word in the word, and it's press. You got to press through the hurt. You got to press through the anguish. You got to press through the tears. You got to press through the trials. You got to press through the pain of the past and get to where you need to be. Listen, the reason I can talk to you this way today is because I had to literally walk it like I talk it. Age of 17, I'm sitting in my guidance counselor's office. Where are my 17-year-olds? Listen, I'm sitting in my guidance counselor's office. She looks at my grades. She looks at me. And she says to me, because she knows my favorite two classes in school are what, y'all?
Gym and lunch.
Gym and what? Lunch and what?
Gym.
Just checking. She looks at me and she looks at my grades. She says, Eddie, matter of fact, you ain't going to college.
Oh.
Matter of fact, don't even think about community college. Pick up a trade. Now, she's a guidance counselor, but I don't get no guidance or no counseling. Right? Have you ever had people tell you what you can't do? Yes. Right. Check this out. The same lady who told me I'd never go to college had to show up to my graduation from college. To where I earned a PhD, but for her it stood for a player-hater degree. You see, people will doubt you, but you can't let that stop you. You got to use the negative steam to power your dream. You got to use the haters as elevators and escalators to get to the next level. And sometimes it may not be an elevator. Sometimes you just got to take the steps. Sometimes you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep talking to yourself. You got to keep saying that I'm a child of God. You got to keep saying that I love myself. Brothers, it's okay for you to love you too. It ain't just for the ladies. Because guess what? Brother, you may never play in the NBA, but you can still own the team by earning an MBA. That's a Master's in Business Administration. Sister, you may never be America's next top model, but guess what? If your standards are higher than your heels, you can be America's next top role model. And what you have to do, because my brothers, you a king, my sister, you a queen. You got to wear the crown. You got to put your crown on. You got to stop looking down at the ground, focusing and only trusting the dust, because your crown don't slip off that way. But you got to put your head up. You got to know that you come from resilient people. What did Kendrick Lamar say? He said, you got loyalty, you got royalty inside your DNA. Right? Because you come from kings and queens. Your history don't begin with slavery. It begins with you understanding that the blood of a Malcolm X flows through me. Medgar Evers, Mandela, Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer. When they go low, you got to go high like a Michelle Obama. You got to demand R-E-S-P-E-C-T like Aretha Franklin. Right? You got to say, guess what? I'm going to rock the boat of my situation like Aaliyah. Because I know I am that somebody, and I know I'm one in a million. You too unique to compete. You too rare to compare. Begin to realize, guess what? Real love don't begin with me searching for it on Instagram. It ain't about no likes. It's about me loving myself. It's about me knowing my worth. It ain't about how many people following me on Twitter. It's about how I lead those who follow me. It ain't about people looking at your storyline on Snapchat. It's how you change the narrative. It ain't about you getting on Facebook. It's about you putting your face in a book. Because you got to realize this, that you are not, get this, you are not just the next generation, but you the now generation. What's something that you can do now? Maybe you can start a recycling group in your community. Maybe you can start a book club. Maybe you can start a political action committee at your young age. Maybe you can begin to do something good in your hood. You tired of seeing how it is? And guess what? You got to get active. The people in the civil rights movement wasn't 50, 60, 70 years of age. They were your age. Moving, working, collaborating, building. Because they recognize that their royalty demands loyalty. Listen, I don't want to just see y'all from the top, but I want to see y'all at the top. The reason I take my time, the reason I work with young people all over the city, but also the country, is because I love y'all. I see you in my own life. I see the 15-year-old me and you. I see the 16-year-old me and you when I was struggling, when nobody thought I was going to amount to anything. I'm the least likely. Never was the guy who was supposed to be, quote unquote, the most successful. I'm the least likely, but guess what? The least likely does the most mighty. And you got to be resilient. You got to be radical. You got to be revolutionary. You got to say to yourself, guess what? From today on out, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to leverage my contacts, because my contacts become my contracts. Right? My ideas become my income. It ain't about what I have on me. It's about the power that I have inside of me. Use your gift. Use your character. Use your resilience. Use your power to walk it like you talk it every day. And when comes time for your graduation, when it comes time for you to move from your diploma to your degree, when I was going to drop out of school at Eastern Michigan University in my sophomore year because I didn't have the money, I began to use my gift, the power of my pen, to begin to write for scholarships. And I put myself through school when people didn't even think I'd go to school. So guess what? Every single day, get up, be resilient, be thankful that as long as you got a pulse, you got a purpose. Walk across life's stage, and this is one thing that you do for me, but also do it for yourself too. Tell every hater to put some respect on your name.